This is a continuation of notes for 2.9, proving lines parallel, and just a few updates. This is the last section we're going to do in this chapter, so we'll be having a test on these sections in the very near future. It'll be on the schedule and everything. And so I decided that I'm going to just kind of walk through and work out these multiple choice problems. So if you have completed them already and feel pretty confident, you can kind of go through this a little bit more quickly. But if you need some more support, I will be working all of these problems out so that you can see how they are done. So this is the multiple choice 2-9, and it includes 2-8, 1AB, 2-3, and 1-6. And you should have completed these from the last lesson, and there are blanks of them at the beginning of this PDF as well. So the first one is it possible, if given that angle 5 and angle 1 are congruent, is it possible to prove any of the lines parallel? So let's kind of think this through again. If I trace angle 1 and trace angle 5, and then I extend those, so this goes like that, this goes like that, and this goes like that. It looks like the two lines that might have a relationship are our line L and N. Notice I don't use any of this from M. And then also notice that this angle, and let me get rid of all that yellow. So these are the two I'm thinking about. I'll recircle those for now. And this one in its cluster is at the top left. And this one is at the top left. So those are corresponding. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. And by the corresponding angles, postulate converse, then we can say, yes, these will be parallel lines. And what lines did we say they were? And maybe now I'll just write them with my pencil or my red color here. And that's L and N. So which one says yes and L and N? So it's letter A there as we go. Next problem. We have the measure of angle 4 is 105. So that's that one. And the measure of angle 5 is 70. So again, if I think of angle 4 right here, angle 5 right there, this is line M. This is using line N, and our transversal is P. So P isn't going to be parallel, but it's the transversal. So if anything, I'm looking for M and N here. But then I have to name that angle relationship. Angle 4 and angle 5, what kind of angles are they? Look, they're in the tunnel, so they're interior, and they're on the same side of the transversal. So they are our consecutive interior angles, and they would have to be supplementary. Are they supplementary? Well, if I add 105 and 70, I get 175. So no. Are there any lines that are parallel? No, there are no lines that are parallel as we go through that one. Next is number 2. And we want to find x so that these two lines are parallel. It shows us what angles we're looking at. And so those are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. We're going to use the alternate interior angles converse. So that means that if these two angles have the same measure, then the lines are parallel, and that's what it wants us to say. So we're going to say that the measure of angle GBA is equal to the measure of angle BAS. And let's write those in then. So 9x minus 21 equals 7x minus 3. Just a little reminder of kind of going through solving. I like to subtract 7x on both sides. When I do that, I get 2x minus 21 equals negative 3. Then I'm going to add 21 to both sides. And when I do that, I get 2x equals kind of 21 minus 3, which is 18. Then I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, and I get x equals 9 for that. So number 2, the answer is x equals 9. The next one is in the game tic-tac-toe, 4 lines intersect to form a square with 4 right angles in the middle of the grid. Is it possible to prove that any of the lines are parallel or perpendicular? Choose the best answer. So let's just read through these. The 2 horizontal lines are parallel? Well, yes, but that doesn't give us everything. The 2 vertical lines are parallel? Yes, but that doesn't give us everything. The vertical lines are perpendicular to the horizontal lines. That's also true as we look. And then look at D. All of these statements are true. And so the answer for that one is D. All of these answers are true. Now, moving on are the slope problems. So this is the review from the last section. And so I'm just going to remind myself slope m y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then I'm going to label these. I'll call m x1 y1 and this x2 y2. So just make sure that you kind of keep them in order. So y2 is negative 8 minus 4 over, and then 5 minus negative 3. So negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. This is plus a positive. 5 plus 3 is 8. We can leave it in improper fraction, but we want to reduce it. What goes into both 12 and 8? Well, 4 does. 4 goes into negative 12, negative 3 times. 4 goes into 8, 2 times. And there's our answer, negative 3 halves. So be cautious when you're doing these problems. Number 2, which one has a slope of 0 and contains the point negative 3, negative 4? So in my head, I'm focusing on that slope of 0. Do you remember what kind of line has a slope of 0? That is horizontal. So the point negative 3, negative 4, yes, it's important, but they all do that. So the one that is the answer is that horizontal line, letter C. Number 3 says, what is the equation of the line with a slope of 3? So m equals 3 and contains the point negative 2, 7. So again, this is going to be my x1, y1. And by the way, if I had 2 points, it wouldn't matter which ones I called x1, y1 or x2, y2, as long as they match each other as we go. Then do you remember point slope form? So look it up if you don't remember, because you want to know where it is in your notes as well. It's y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. And close the parentheses. And I guarantee you, if you write it every single time that I have written it, as you go through the lesson, then it will be in your head much better than if you don't do that. So let's go through this. That's y minus 3, just kidding, y1, which is 7, equals m, that's 3, times parentheses x minus, and x1 is negative 2, so I'll put it in its own little extra parentheses. So then we get y minus 7 equals 3 parentheses x plus 2. And for this one, that is one of the choices, letter D. And so that is what that one is. Number 4, what equation represents a line with a slope of, so m is negative a half, and the point is point is 4, negative 6. So really this is like the last one, but this time we want to end up in slope-intercept form. But we're going to start with point-slope form because we have a point and the slope. Start with point slope form. And we'll call these x1 and y1, and we already know that that's m, and so we'll write our version, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So y minus y1, which is -6, equals m, which is -0.5, times x minus x1, which was 4. And now we want to clean this up a little bit more. So we get y plus 6 equals, and if we left that and left the right side, that would be in point slope form, but we need it to be slope intercept form. So we're going to distribute -0.5 times x is -1/2 x. -0.5 times -4 is +2. And then we want to get the y alone. Oops, it is an added 6, so we're going to subtract 6. -6 minus 6, and then that's going to give us y equals -1/2 x minus 4. And when we look at our choices here, -1/2 x minus 4 is letter B as we look at that. So do notice that there's another one that is correct, but it is not in slope intercept form. It's in point slope form. So we have to read the directions carefully and make sure that we know what's happening there. The next one says, which of the following equations represents a line parallel to the graph of y equals 1/4 x? So this is our original equation there, and so that's y equals mx plus b. So m, our slope, is 1/4, and remember we want something parallel, so our parallel m is also 1/4. So when we look at these, we're looking for something that has the exact same 1/4 there. And so this one has 1/4, but we'll just keep checking to make sure. Nope, that's -1/4, that's 4, and maybe I shouldn't do x's there. That is not the right one. And none of the other ones are correct. So it is letter A for that, the one with the exact same slope. Last problem, what is the slope of the line perpendicular to MN for those 2 points? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first find the slope of line MN, then find the perpendicular slope. And so let's just find this slope to begin with. And so m is -3, 4. N is 5, -8. Slope m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you know, I label these all the time, x1, y1, x2, y2, so I know what they are, do you? And so that's going to be -8 minus 4 over 5 minus -3. -8 minus 4 is -12. 5 minus -3 is plus a +3, so that's 8. I'm going to reduce it, but I can leave it improper. So 4 goes into both of those, so that's -3/2. So the perpendicular slope then is the opposite reciprocal. So the perpendicular m is +2/3. And so notice if you pick -3/2, that's the original slope. So don't forget to finish the problem, and that is letter C. So that is 2.9, proving lines parallel. If you haven't already, make sure you write your questions, your level of understanding, and at least 3 sentences. Some good things to write about would be converses. What are these angle pairs? Maybe a question about how do you know if it's the converse? And a hint is we end up with the lines parallel if it started out that way. Have a great rest of your day.